Let me start. Let me start the recording. Say good morning. This is Kevin Brown. I'm the Esports Program Specialist with NACEP, the North American Scholastic Esports Federation, as well as the Orange County, California Department of Education. And I'm glad you're on board. We're going to talk a little bit about general manager training. Nathan, I think you're in the perfect spot to get a glimpse at what it would require. Now, there are lots of organizations out there that are purveying esports at high schools. I'm sure you're aware of them. We're not going to go over the names, but many organizations, some charge for it. We don't in NASEF. What we do is interesting and unique. And again, everything we do is based on scholasticism, some kind of academic focus where, yes, the player is important, but it's not all about the player. So as we go through this, this will give you a good idea, especially thinking that you're going to take this up into the New York area. Lots of schools are leaning into esports now in this post-COVID environment. They're looking for ways to engage kids differently. They realize that virtual is the way they're going to be for the short to midterm. So they're looking for options. And this is a great way to marry, I think, the scholastic part, which is now all virtual, with something that happens naturally in, up in the interwebs, which is esports. So I'm going to go through this. It'll take about a half an hour. Ask questions wherever you like. Right now, it's just you and me, but and then whoever else is going to listen in the future. But any questions, just stop me right there and ask, okay?
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Cool. So we will roll. So this is, what would it be like? Let's say you get online, you're thinking about, yeah, this is a great idea. I want to start up a club with NASEF. Again, it is absolutely free to register a club. All we ask is that there are 5 sort of litmus tests. So do you have a space? In this case, it's virtual, but thinking ahead, whether it's a community-based organization or an actual high school, there would need to be club space at some point, figuring we're going to get back together. PC's got to be somewhere, consoles have to be somewhere. So the school needs a space. The school needs a responsible adult. So in your case, it'd be you, Nathan. You'd be the general manager. You'd need backup from IT. You'd once need equipment, and not just the PCs or the consoles, but monitors and peripherals and chairs and whatever else you need, and stations depending on what kinds of games you want to play. Some things like console games, you can play 8 kids wide, right? You can play Super Smash Brothers, you can play 8 kids at a time. 1 console, 8 controllers, and you go nuts. Others, if you want to field a squad for some of the more popular games, anywhere from 3-on-3 with Rocket League to 6-on-6 with Overwatch, that means you're going to need that many computers, right? You're going to need 6 or a dozen, depending on the size. And that means you're also going to need your friends in IT to help back you up. Never start a program like this without consulting your IT guys on whether it's on site or if it's with a school district, to make sure that all the proper permissions are opened up. And then lastly, if you want it, there is curriculum. We do teach, let me invite Adam here. We do have curriculum that works both in school time and out of school time. So all that is available. That's the 4th consideration. But again, because we are a scholastically oriented esports program, we always want you to bear that in mind. Morning, Adam, you're just beaming in right now. Great to have you. We're going to press on. So imagine you got online. Congratulations. You've started up this esports club. It's like saying, congrats, you've got a puppy. Well, great. Now what do? I've got a puppy. So let me talk a little bit about the care and feeding of this esports club. A little bit about me. So again, I work with esports. I'm the esports program specialist with the Orange County, California Department of Education. We oversee 27 school districts in the lower half of California, about 500,000 kids under all of those different school districts. I also work for NACEF, North American Scholastic Esports Federation. I'm one of the very, very early members back when we grew from just 25 clubs. Now we're close to 900 all throughout North America and 9 other countries, and we grow every day, a few more. And I've been a gamer since back before all your parents were dating. I've been playing games back to paper and pencil, but I really do like some of the mobile games out there. I love me some Summoner's War. I still play Final Fantasy. I love the RPG, the role-playing games, but I'll dip into almost anything that's of interest. So yeah, I've done this for a while. So we're going to cover, what does it look like to activate and finish, actually get your club through activation process. Again, it's a free process, but it takes a little bit of time. What happens immediately after? Once you get the green light, congrats, you're a club. There are things you have to do as a general manager through NACEF, and it's very important we get this done to make sure that all of your membership is represented. And then there are steps to that. And then we'll talk a little bit about that first club meeting. So this is important, Nathan. You're talking about, getting a job with one of these schools, maybe one of these first-time schools that might be trying this. Going in with a mindset about how to organize, I think, is key for you. And Adam, this may be the same thing as well. Same thing I told Nathan. Adam, is if you've got questions about anything you're seeing on the screen or anything I say, let's not wait till the Q&A at the end. Just open your mic and ask your question. I'm good to drop in like that. So,
okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So getting this mindset about how to set up a club, how to get all sort of the culture set up, and how do we get a cadence? How do we get a feel for what's club life going to be like? Just like a traditional sport, you've got, practice Monday, Wednesday, Friday, scrimmages might be on Tuesday, games might be on Thursdays. So every traditional sports club has a way about it, a culture, the locker rooms and what they do, the chants. Same thing with your club. So we'll cover all of that. Sound good? I will remind you both that we'll have another one of these same sessions later today in case you want to hear it again. This is a 6-week series we'll be doing. This will cover the next 6 weeks every Tuesday, I think, and Thursdays as well. And so we're going to repeat this. We'll have different kinds of experts come and join me. So we'll talk more about leaning into the scholastic aspect. We'll talk about competitions with our actual tournament organizer, Jess Aceves. She'll come on board. We'll bring in some of our coaching staff. We'll bring in our COO, Samantha Anton, to talk about club culture and things you can be doing to grow that. So all of that's going to be part of what we're doing over the next 6 weeks. They're on the NACEF.org website. You'll be able to click on our calendar of events, drop in, register for free, and come and join us. All right. So let's talk about what we do. What is NASEF? It is a federation of different clubs. And so what's a federation? Federation is an overarching kind of governing body. So we give you direction. We have a code of conduct. We have ethics, morals, values, a mission statement. And basically clubs that join us are aligned to that. They also like our price tag. It's free to do all the things with NASEF. Everything we offer is built for you for free. You can use it as you like, when you like. But you have autonomy in your clubs. We give you structure. There are certain things we require, like a club charter. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you have the freedom to choose the games that you want to play, decide whether or not you want to be part of our tournament structure, grow your own tournament structure, work with another group. You can do all of these things and not break any rules with us. So understand there's a lot of freedom. We have schools of all kinds and types: public schools, charter schools, private schools, faith-based schools, online schools. Anybody can come to this and bring their uniqueness into what they do at the club. I think that's really the cool part of what NASEF does. It looks like the United Nations. We are every face, every color, all places, truly an international organization now. But it's about teaching kids what they need beyond the game, what they can do, how we can show them that what they learn benefits them, yes, in the game, but also in their life. So it gives them a mindset about moving forward through school, maybe into post-secondary education. Any questions about that so far? It sounds like way too good to believe, but we've been doing this for going on 3 years now and just getting bigger. So we know this is a hit out in public. So far, so good? Thumbs up? Good. All right, so let's talk about what you got to do to get clubs done. So to move from pending to active. So it all starts with activation. I'm going to show you some screenshots in a minute. And if we need to, I'll move out onto the web and you can actually look at the live NASEF website. But I've got some screenshots I put in last night. It all starts with a big blue button that's on most of our pages. It says activate. If you follow that, it takes about 10 minutes to add all the proper information to get the process going. Once that's done, your site administrator, your principal, if you're with a community-based organization like a YMCA, your site director gets an email and says, hey, did you know that Nathan wants to form a club on this high school campus? And he's gonna, thumbs up or thumbs down that. Usually they thumbs up. When that happens, a second set of information grabbing goes on. That's when you start to form a club roster. So all the kids who want to participate in the esports club. Later on, if you want to compete, a team roster, how to upload that, parental permission slip forms, and then a charter. So all of this is going to happen. All of this, when you get it all done, makes your club active. It goes green light on our form, and then you get to know, yes, you're fully involved. But as we go through this, guys like me, we come out, there's a whole team that helps out. So if you need specific training, you need me to get on a call, Kevin, can you help me? Just walk me through the screens as I do it. Happy to do that. That's part of our service. Again, it's free. That's my job, is I'm here to help. Kind of rub the lamp, the genie appears, and I answer all your questions, but I don't give you money. All right. So there's that blue button. You can see up here in my screen, maybe, that activate button in the top right-hand corner. That's on almost every page of NASEF. Those are the different tabs that are live on our website, but that activate button's everywhere. When you click it, you're brought to this screen. It'll tell you, are you a high school? It'll ask you, are you a community-based organization? These are the requirements. If you wish to continue, you click next. Well, here's what the next screen looks like. You actually start to add in information. First screen is saying, who do we contact? Who's going to be the person on site who will be responsible for the NACEP eSport Club? And then tell us about your club. Are you a high school or community-based organization? What's your club name? It's got to be an appropriate name. Sometimes we get like, Fountain Valley Pizza Dogs, DAWGS. Okay, that works. Okay, the Haters, right there. Not a good name. We're not going to authorize that. We're going to ask you to go back and rethink about what it is you want to portray, because that's your personality, of course, as you know, as you get out into the world space. So we want you to think about your club name, where are you located, street address, etc., just so we know. Again, we're an international organization now. We want to be able to keep tabs and know how many people we got in different parts of the world. As you work through the space, the next screen is give us some information about who's going to be the general manager, the person that I'm probably going to work with, and most of our team, our tournament organizers, our coaches, if they're going to be working with you. Who is that person? You need to acknowledge that you've read all the requirements, that you're going to need to spend time apart and away from whatever your responsibilities are. You're going to need to be able to dedicate time a week, anywhere from an hour and a half to as many as 5 hours during season for coaching, for training, for getting kids through different kinds of competitions. And then if we go to the live event, you're all being flown into Southern California when we can meet again in person so that we can have these final events for our major meets. So understand that's all part of the commitment. So you'll read through those, you click it. Give us some idea about what your experience is in esports. Nathan, do you play? You got games you like to play?
Definitely. I have a couple that I play in my spare time.
In my abundance spare time. What do you play?
In terms of just for fun, I play like Call of Duty, NBA 2K, Madden, FIFA. But in terms of like esport games, I try to play a little Fortnite, Overwatch, games like that.
Good job. So what do you play in Overwatch? Who do you tend to play? You tank, you DPS, you support?
Yeah, I support.
So what? So Luciano, who do you play?
It depends on the day.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you got it. How about you, Adam? You a gamer yourself?
I just do Warzone and Fortnite are my two games.
I just do. But yes. You got two, which is good. Good job. So you like the new update in Fortnite?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people complain about every little thing that comes out in Fortnite, but I always like them. So
it's the sharks right now. Sharks are the new vehicle. Sharks
and
are
the marauders.
Cool.
Yeah,
yep.
We got all that stuff. So
you got another update coming up today, and my grandson is like all excited. Oh, gee, it's coming in. We're doing it. Okay, I got to sit and watch him like for hours and explain it to me.
The kids love it.
That's right, they do. So I have to like vicariously live through this. This is how I do it. My games are too slow, too thought-provoking.
That's right.
RPGs, but so we want to know a little bit about your experience because that helps us understand how we can better support you. If you are gamers like you gents are, obviously, when we do Fortnite Fridays, you're going to be all over that. You know what's going on. You can better guide your kids. If you're we've got like band teachers that are the GMs or biology teachers, and they don't game at all. So I know there's more help that I need to give them when that happens. Lastly, as part of the load up process, the activation process is getting that high school administrator or that principal or that site director on board, because they're going to get an email. We need to know that they authorize the creation of a club on their campus or at their site. And again, they've got to click through all of that. You click that update button, it comes over to NASEF. We get the buttons. Lots of things happen automatically. All those emails you put into us, they go out to people. Again, this could take anywhere from a couple of days to a couple of weeks to get the whole process going, depending on if people actually open their email and read. So let's suppose all those general managers are done, all the principals have said yes. Now you come up to the point, great, let's get a club roster going. A club roster is a list of all of the students who would be interested in joining the club, not just the players. Players are a subset. If you've seen that NACEP diagram, I should actually put it in the back besides our logo. That's that one with the players in the middle, and we've got those like 4 domains in like this wonderful, colorful circle around that gamer. That really talks about what the club is. Kids can find themselves doing all kinds of things in esports above and beyond what it is they do for the game. So they can shoutcast, they can be the business organization people, they can be the club managers, the actual coaches or the general managers of the team. So lots of other opportunities. We want to know who all those kids are. We ask for their name, so first name, last name, so we know we can individuate the students with a school-based esports address. We don't want personal, jimmyjones@gmail.com. Don't want to know that. Want to keep it very student-focused, so just their esports, their email at school. Also their parents' name and the parents' email, because our system is going to send out a permission slip. We want all parents to agree to allow their kids to play esports if that's what's open to them, just like they would for ASB or traditional sport or anything else. Parents should be our partners in this. Part of what I do is I hold parent meetings quite often. I explain what this is. We're not trying to make thumb monkeys out of kids and waste their time. Academic esports is actually a great proposal. It's good for the brain. It's good for kids. And my job is to actually defend that theory. So when you have to have those discussions with parents or with the administrator, gentlemen, please know that get on my schedule. I'm happy to support you. Dial in from wherever and bring all my toolkit to make this fly at your locations. So every year, or every season rather, as kids migrate through, kids come, kids go, part of the general manager job is to update, to curate that list of kids. And then when you're in the season of that subset, like I said, you're going to create your team roster. Who is going to play Overwatch? Who then is going to play Fortnite? Who's up for League of Legends or FIFA or whatever else we're offering? So those teams can be different. You can field 2 teams per game title, but you can have any number of teams. You can play all the sports or none of the sports that we play. It's all up to you. Good so far? Adam, really quickly, I forgot to ask, where are you located? Where are you in the world?
I'm in Nebraska.
Nebraska, excellent. You got a burgeoning group out there. We just set up a state affiliate for you all, so that'll be great. You'll actually have resources in your state.
Yep, it's good.
You know Nate? You know Nate Thompson?
I think I'm connected with that group that you're referring to. I do not know Nate Thompson though.
Okay, you'll get to know him. That's cool.
Okay.
So here comes the herding cats part. When you start actually getting that club roster together, I'm just giving you a snapshot what this looks like. If you were a GM, this is what your screen looks like. You've got this ability to go in, as you can see. This is Elisa Niguel High School down here in Southern California near me. And you can see you're actually going to nominate a president, a vice president, secretary, treasurer for your club. This is good. This is so general managers don't have to do all the work. Students will do a lot of the lift for your clubs, and we want them to. You're going to give them guidance and a framework, and really the final vote. Yes, we're going to do this. No, we're not going to do it. Doesn't make sense. But the students are going to do a lot of it. So you want to get them in there, edit those as they go. I'll show you about the creation of a club charter, the governing document that talks about how you all will organize and comport yourselves. If there's ever a misconduct complaint or things like that, first thing I do as part of NACEP is pull your club charter and say, what did you say about yourselves? What was important to you? And then if it's a case of misconduct, how did you say you were going to deal with your members if the wheels fell off, if something happened, you transgressed one of your own values or something like that. So having that club charter on hand is great. Club roster is over here on the right. You can see, here's what you get. You get a list of kids. You know who's got a signed parental agreement because you get an active. Pending means the kid has not returned the parent form. She's what grade? Obviously, I'm covering up the last name, but you'll have the full list. It's funny, this shows only a few kids that are fully registered for teams, but he's got like 50 kids in his club. And this is not unsurprising. We see, I think the largest club in NASEF right now has 151 members on the club roster. So just know when you open this up, is esports a thing? Are my kids going to be interested? I will tell you, yes, it will happen like that. So your job as a general manager is to help move all those yellows to greens. And that is sort of chasing around the kids to get parental permission slips put in. You can't do things like get into tournaments unless all of this paperwork is put in. We need to know that parents are agreeing. So we have, besides digital forms, we have paper forms in case there are parents that do not or will not share an email or don't want to do things digitally. So you can collect them physically and then scan them to us however that's appropriate. All right. After we get you set up on our website and we get this information loaded up, we want you to create a call sign because we're going to put you up on our Discord channel, and that's going to follow next. But you're going to want to create an organization name and something so that we know who you are. So here's what it looks like. So there's NBSS. So there's a senior high school, and there's Mr. Arrocena, who is the teacher. And again, there are rules. We want to make sure that the naming convention is nothing inflammatory. It should be something very specific so we know which high school it is. And of course, if for whatever reason we think that that name just won't fly, we're going to let you know. We want you to pick something so you can identify and be proud, something that's going to mirror all your other teams, but it's also got to be something that's not going to cause a fuss. Because again, we do operate on a world stage. We want to make sure everybody feels happy with who we're talking to. So you both know about Discord. You on Discord yourself? I'm sure you've got clubs or friends that you hang out with. So you're looking for thumbs up. I'm seeing a nod.
Yep.
Good. So what you'll do is we'll send you out an invite. You'll be able to come into our NACEP channel. And then you start right on the activation page. There's a bot there that meets you. That's Jess. She is our tournaments coordinator and just maven for all things on our Discord channel. So you assign yourself a role. So it's .im and you put general manager. It will assign you the general manager role, and you'll be allowed to come into and see lots of what we've got going on. Pretty much everything except for the internal NACEP stuff. But it's a huge open community. There's a scrim finder that's in there. Very active. If you're stuck on a point of order, you don't know what to do. Have you all ever experienced this when you started your club? That community is in always embracing. There's always somebody on it, again, because we follow the sun. So it starts early, it's up in the east, and it stays late up in the west. So there's always somebody on to answer questions. It's a very helpful community. So again, you can see that if you're a teacher, your teachers can jump in, your kids can jump in. They can talk to coaches and talk about strategy and things like that. We have a whole group of esports ambassadors, college graduates that work for us through the University of California at Irvine. They're like big brothers, big sisters, and they guide kids and they answer questions about, so college life, is it a thing for me? Should I be doing it? What's the esports scene like in college? What's the college scene like at college? So great to have all those resources at your beck and call on our Discord site. So something you want to get into as quickly as you can once you get on board. So here it is, that first club meeting. I'm looking at time and it says we're almost at the bottom of the half hour, but we started a little bit late, so I'm going to go a few minutes over. So that first club meeting, right now we live in a virtual society, so we're going to get every kid who's invited in this, who everybody wants to join up. You're going to hold like a Zoom session like this and get them all on board. Zoom can take up to 100 people at a time, so you can get everybody on board for that first meeting. Pump them up. You want to let them know that there are going to be, we're going to have a little bit of a runoff. We need a vote. We need a president, vice president, whoever. So kids, maybe that first meeting, they can talk up, give them 30 seconds each to stump and talk about why they should be president, vice president, whatever. You want those officers because, as I said, they're going to help you as general managers get the work of the club done. So if you're not there one day, they can open the meeting. They can do the healthy stretching. They can talk about points of order on the agenda. They can talk about the fundraising drive to help get the, get a console up so you all can play Super Smash, whatever the thing is. We're also going to talk in that first club meeting that we've got to draft in the next, or in that meeting or a subsequent meeting, a club charter. So I'll talk really quickly about that. Getting a club pledge. I see this in a lot of clubs, and I really encourage the use of this, that when you all get together, even if it's you all recite together, we all solemnly swear that we're up to no good, but we're going to be good when we do no good. Whatever that is, you come up with the thing that identifies you all as that esports club at your high school or at your community-based organization. That's how you know it's game time. You're all in together. And then you're going to set up meeting times. Besides a practice day and a scrimmage day, if you're going to compete, what other days during the week will the club get together, not necessarily to game, but to do those other club activities that are important? And there's a lot going on. We have what we call beyond the game challenges that are happening all throughout the year. Excellent opportunities for your grants to win, or for your club to win grants, or for your kids to win individual scholarships to schools, to colleges. So they can perform these different challenges, and the winners get sweet prize money that goes into, like I said, goes into an account that we hold for them for college, and then the clubs get granted. So you want to get those video card upgrades, or you want to get jerseys for your team, this is one way you can find those funds to do that. So let's talk a little bit about club structure and governance. So again, there's that wonderful ecosystem. I'm really going to paint this on one side of my house. I'm so impressed with this because when I first saw this 2 years ago, I understood what scholastic esports was about. Yes, the players are in the middle, and that's what everybody thinks esports is. We're just playing, but it's so much more than that. Without all of this work that happens around that player, esports gaming doesn't happen. So this is what we want to keep in mind as we form our club. There's a place for every child that wants to come into this club. There's kind of work that they can get into, whether or not they game or they're really good at a particular game. So here's just a quick look at what that basic club formation might look like. The ones in red are the command staff, again, the general manager and those 4 primary positions. But you can see roles are broken out. There's a sense of responsibility. NASEF typically provides the coach if you want it for the games of the season, but you could also procure your own. So then you've got somebody that manage the team, actually manage the players. Analysts can get on board and go to work. So I'm happy to send this out to you, this deck, so you all can keep this and refer back to it as you get going through your club space if that's important. You'll see my email at the end. Just take a quick note, send me an email you want it, and I'll send it out to you. Just an idea. So University of California, Irvine, the club there is huge, 750 students. So they actually break down their clubs into sub-clubs based on game titles. It can be as big and complex or as simple as you like it. So the idea that getting it started, as I said, getting students involved, they will take it from there. You don't need to, as a general manager, whether or not you know games, you don't need to be the one driving everything. Students are going to fill all those different roles. So a charter that we ask for is this idea. It's a guiding document, a governing document, a statement of purpose, why you get together. It talks about what your club really wants to be. So we've got a toolkit that's available. You can pull down this draft. We ask that you don't change the boilerplate, the template, but you can certainly add to it. You can put in your school's mission, vision, and values. We've got faith-based organizations that put their particular spin on what they find important, and they bake that into the charter, all perfectly well and received. I'm going to run through this. These are actual slide shots of the actual document. You're going to put a name. You're going to talk about what your purpose is. You're going to talk about what it is to be eligible. We ask for a grade point requirement, just like you do in traditional sports. Did either of you play sports in high school? So if you did, you knew that they had, so what'd you play, Nathan? You played football, baseball, what?
Basketball and track.
Basketball. All right. So then you had to have a certain GPA, right? You had to have a GPA to get into the club. And then to play the sport, if you were going to finals, your GPA needed to be higher. You need to do grade checks. We do the same thing. 2.0 at a minimum to join the club and maintain that. And then some schools up the ante and say, yeah, you got to be 3.0 to be on the team and 3.25 if we make it to the Sweet 16, because we want to make sure that there's scholasticism. We're not just like focusing on the game and then your studies drop off. Oh, because I got to be the jungler. Mom, I got to get in there. I got to go to practice League of Legends. We want there to be that scholastic input. You determine, but 2.0 at a minimum. We don't charge dues. We think that schools probably shouldn't charge dues either, because the moment you charge a student, there's somebody who does not have the ability to pay, unless you allow for a way around that. Unless there's a, if you say it's $5 to join the club, there has to be a way for a non-capable student who cannot pay that. They still need to be able to join the club with or without the ability to pay. Make sense? Again, want equity, inclusion, and access for everybody. So what are the club officers? What are the terms? We suggest this. You can change that to match whatever your school might be or your state's got examples. Again, all the different kinds of positions for those club officers. There's a lot of bandwidth. This is really what draws a lot of girls in. Surprisingly, most esports clubs, you see the boys that are playing on the team. It's the girls that actually run the club. They are the president, the vice president. They're the team manager. They crack the whip, make sure the guys show up at practice. That's a great way to get girls involved with esports. So I highly encourage that. You want to do a survey of your members to ask them, what kinds of games do you want to play? We offer a lot of games through NACEF. You're not stuck to 4 games like some of these organizations out there. You must play only these games. You can pretty much play whatever you want. You're not going to see, unfortunately, Call of Duty or Rainbow Six or things like that. Those games are thought to be a little bit too polarizing. Parents don't like the gore factor, even though I know you can turn off certain effects. So, but we have other FPS games that we do play, again, like Overwatch and Fortnite. Play a lot of Rocket League, play a lot of FIFA, play a lot of NBA 2K and Madden. So it's all out there. You can play whatever you want. Ping your club and see what it is they want to play, because you got the card-based games like Hearthstone. You got some of the RPG games that kids want to play. They're not for competition, but they might want to play it anyway. What are the duties of the officers? We suggest some things you can definitely add to this. Important that they realize that some of these roles have some weights to it. So there are a lot of students that are looking for community service hours as part of graduation. So this is a great way. If you were the club president and you organized meetings and you organized activities, those will count for students' participation hours. So again, esports is helping fill out that student's resume. When do you want to hold your meetings? That's a function of you, the general manager. You, the general manager, have to be there to open and close the meeting. You've got to be the responsible adult in the space. So it's got to be something that you can manage, work in and around whatever your school allows you to do. So again, 2 days a week at least, 1 to practice and 1 to scrimmage if you're in a tournament, and then a 3rd day for club activities. If you can go all 5 days, you know your kids are going to want that. So you've got to make it work for you. I suggest slow and measured to start. Again, Nathan, like you said, this first year to get an idea. You can always expand what the club does. It's kind of hard to roll it back. So take measured steps to start with, and you can grow into what you want to be. Again, that executive committee is just the general manager plus the big four positions. You're the ones who make the decisions. You're the one who decides when meetings happen. I'm going to skip through some of this, all these different committees. You'll set up what's important. That's it. Once you get that done and you've drafted it, you'll submit that. There's a link, a button you click. It says upload charter. This now sits with NASEF. So if we have any questions for you, we can review it before we have questions. That's your first week. That's what it looks like to set up an esports club. There's a little bit of policy and procedure. It does kind of sound like United Nations. But at the same point, it's also good. It teaches kids about the civics that they're learning in poli-sci class. They're learning how to integrate different personalities, different work styles. There's a group dynamic that gets on, but that's also what these kids, these esports kids are looking for. So you're going to create something great for them. I'm going to shout out for a second. I've talked for about 30 minutes straight. It's your turn now. Any questions about what you're seeing about setup?
In terms of the setup, I think you did a great job laying it out. I took a couple of notes. I appreciate that.
Sure. You can have the deck too. I'll send you that in just a second. Yeah. Definitely.
I appreciate it. One question I did have, it's a bit off, maybe a little off key or off topic, was kind of this, it's more about NASEF in general and what kind of relationships you all have with organizations like NACE, like the National Association of Collegiate Esports, and how many students go on to, play for scholarships and play for schools, and how does that recruitment look? Is there live tournaments that you do per game? Is there recruiting events? How does that work?
So we focus on high school. We definitely realize that NACE and other organizations are out there and they are recruiting. We realize that when we broadcast, so most of our major games go up on Twitch. Again, anybody in the universe can look at them. And we know scouters and recruiters are watching because they know, just like for any of the traditional sports, they know who's hot. They know who's on the uptick, and they know that for their university teams, they're going to want to scout and recruit certain kids for certain game titles. So that's always out there. We do not sell that information. Again, these are high school kids, so there are laws that govern student privacy and things like that. We cannot stop anybody responding to a recruiter, but then again, we're not going to put their email out there where they can say, hey, this is, Nathan Nugent, and he is a rising junior, and he's got he's platinum in League of Legends, and he's top 1,000 in in Fortnite. So yeah, you should pick him up. We do work with colleges. Obviously, we work with University of California, Irvine. They are arguably one of the winningest colleges in North America. They are global champions for their Overwatch and League of Legends teams. So they help us form a lot of our policy and a lot of how we set up what we do with clubs, with coaching, with gameplay. But while I know that they're also looking, it's not our job in NASEF to kind of prime kids for college level play. We want to show that there's an academic side to this because, as you gents know, when you play an esport, you've got about a 15-month window before somebody comes and knocks you off your crown and then you vanish. It's not like traditional sports where you can make a comeback. You can get stronger, you can get faster, you can improve your times, you can improve, you can improve your field goals. When you're gone with esports, you're gone, you're replaced. And so a lot of kids have hopes. They want to get up there, they want to do that, they want to make money, they want to make all that pride statement. And then when they go away, they don't have a plan. We see that a lot. So we've got people that come back to us and saying, yeah, what should I have been doing in college? Where should I go? We want to focus on the academic part and say, play through pro. If you get to pro, that's great. Good for you. You got that skill set. Keep in mind that university has solicited you. You're getting paid a scholarship to play. Take advantage of what that university is offering. Get into a major program. Doesn't have to be esports, computation, anything like that. It could be pharmacology. It could be poli-sci. It could be marine biology. Who cares? But get a path. Get some education going with you so that when esports is no longer the biggest thing in your life, you actually have a fallback plan, something that's going to make you feel good, something that's going to make you money, and you're going to be able to do.
Gotcha.
Adam, I saw your mic open. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I do have a quick question.
Please.
How does NASEF work alongside like the local group? So you there's the Nebraska group.
Yep.
How would those groups work together?
Sure. Good question. So any high school can come to NASEF and set up today, activates in the blind and just say, hi, I am, Dakota Falls High School, and I'm going to I want to set up my thing. I have a NASEF club. Yes. When enough of you get together, there's usually a high school or a state-run organization or a regional organization, something in the Southeast, Northwest, whatever. They come to us and say, hey, we'd like to have more benefit. We'd like to set up an affiliate status. So on our website, there's a tab all about affiliation. We look to see, does that group actually have grab and reach? Do they actually have schools that would work together with them? Do they have 20, 30, 40 high schools? That becomes an affiliate. That gives a certain level of oversight. They get more of our time, more of our love, I'd say, than a traditional high school, because we're going to help them form what it takes to manage all of those high schools in a uniform way. So in your state, if there was a state affiliate for Nebraska, for example, we're going to push and suggest that all the high schools that sign up in the state affiliate with this group, because they will have opportunities. They will have other secondary gaming opportunities that will come up. There will be special leagues that will form in Nebraska for Nebraska. It'll be that all those high schools might be quadranted off in the state. They're going to play local and then regional tournaments, which will then develop into a state tournament, which will render up a state champion who will go into the NASEF North American finals. So each affiliate will be able to send their top 1 or 2 teams to go and compete for that North American title. So that's the benefit of working. Beyond that, there are other amenities. There are, we've got training for teachers that want to become one of our scholastic fellows. We have opportunities to work with us at symposiums and conferences to take the work you're doing in the classrooms or showing how Scholastic Esports has worked in your state, and then promoting that at these different kinds of conferences that come up.
Okay. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You are welcome. It's well past the hour, about 15 minutes past what we said, gents, but I can hang out for another 3 minutes, and then I've got to get along to another call. But we will have this session again today at noon Pacific. So at, 2 o'clock Central Time and 3 o'clock Florida East Coast time, if you want to check back in. Again, we'll also do the same thing, as I said, next week. Check our events calendars and register for any of the other, it'll say GM call or GM topics. So click in on any of those. There'll be a little explanation about what it is. It'll be my humble self and then one of my colleagues here in NASEF to help talk about whatever the topic of the week is. We've got 5 more to go. And then if you've got any other questions, let me just see really quickly if I've got, it's way down deep in the slide deck, but let me just put my email up here so you can see it. If you have any questions, let me stop sharing and share again. You're more than welcome to reach out and ask me directly, and I will answer anything that I can. If I don't know the answer, another smart person in NASEF probably does. That number there, the cell number, is actually my cell phone number right here. If you ring it, I will pick it up. It's actually me. So you have that access already. There's no charge to talk to me at any time. I end up getting up early and staying up late, so I'm at your service.
Thanks, Kevin.
You are welcome. Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Nathan, for joining me today. Hope to see you again soon. Take care.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome.